I discovered a secret to controlling anxiety that has transformed the nights of hundreds of people over 60. After years of helping people who felt trapped by their own thoughts, I found something that works like a hug for the soul. A breakthrough so recent that few people know about it yet, but it is already changing lives in just 48 hours. If you feel like you have lost that natural tranquility you once had, this will change everything. Do you know when you wake up and feel that weight on your chest, even though nothing specific has happened? When your mind starts racing early in the morning, creating worries that don't always make sense? Or when it becomes difficult to relax, even when you should be resting? These signs that many think are normal signs of aging actually have a very specific scientific explanation, and more importantly, a solution that has just been discovered. In my clinical experience, I've observed that people of our generation respond very differently to traditional anxiety treatments. Our mature brains process information in a unique way, which means we need age-specific approaches. What works for people in their 30s or 40s simply won't work as well after 60. I recently came across a breakthrough that is revolutionizing the treatment of anxiety in the elderly. 4 specific approaches that work for our age group surprisingly quickly. One uses resources you already have in your own home. Another takes advantage of good memories you already have in your life in ways you never imagined. There is a third that works specifically at times when anxiety is most prevalent. And the last one is so simple that you can apply it even when you are in the middle of a crisis. What moves me the most is seeing how these people regain not only their peace of mind, but also their self-confidence. It's as if they rediscover a better version of who they always were. A version that is not held hostage by their own thoughts, that can enjoy family time, that sleeps well and wakes up feeling rested. If you recognize these patterns and are ready to understand what your mind is trying to tell you, then type yes in the comments. Hundreds of people have already found relief by taking this first step of self-awareness. Your journey to regaining inner peace can begin today, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it safely and effectively. One transformation that touched me deeply was that of a 68-year-old woman who came to me completely exhausted. She told me that she could no longer watch television without her mind wandering to worries. She could no longer talk to her grandchildren without feeling that constant restlessness. She had lost the ability to simply be present in the moment. After applying these new insights, she called me in just 48 hours, thrilled. She was able to watch an entire movie for the first time in months. She played with her grandchildren without that constant sense of urgency. Most importantly, she regained something she thought she had lost forever: the natural calm she had in her 50s, when problems seemed more manageable and life felt easier. What happens to our anxiety after 60 has very specific characteristics. It's not just the accumulation of life's worries. Our brain goes through natural neurological changes that alter the way we process stress and emotions. The areas responsible for emotional regulation work differently, and this explains why techniques that worked before no longer work. This recent scientific breakthrough has finally understood these specific changes in the mature brain. That's why it can achieve such rapid results. It's not fighting against the nature of our brain, it's working with it. It's like finally having the correct instruction manual for our mind after 60. One of the most striking findings is that our anxiety after 60 has much more to do with a sense of loss of control than with specific concerns. We lose that sense that we can handle anything that comes our way. We lose confidence in our ability to adapt, and this creates a cycle of anxiety that feeds on itself. I remember a 72-year-old man who told me how he felt. He said it was as if he had lost his inner compass. He no longer knew how to trust his own reactions. He constantly questioned his decisions. He lived in a state of alert, even in safe situations. He felt as if he had become a stranger to himself. By applying these 4 specific approaches, he rediscovered not only his peace of mind, but also his self-confidence. He once again trusted his own ability to deal with unexpected events. He regained that sense of inner solidity that characterized his personality before anxiety took over. What strikes me the most is seeing how these people smile again in a genuine way. Not the polite smile we use to hide discomfort, but the spontaneous smile that appears when we are truly well. They become curious about new things again, have energy for future plans, and are willing to enjoy the present. This advance represents a silent revolution in the mental health care of older adults. We finally have approaches that respect and work with the specific characteristics of our brain, our life experience, and our internal resources accumulated over the years. If you feel like your anxiety has robbed you of your spontaneity, your ability to enjoy simple moments, your confidence in dealing with everyday life, these discoveries can give you all that back. In 48 hours, you can begin to recognize the calm person you always were, but who was hidden beneath constant worry. The first breakthrough discovery has to do with something I call the morning neurological reset. Over the years of observing anxiety patterns in people our age, I've come to realize that there's a specific window in our day when our brains are most receptive to positive change. That window is the first 20 minutes after we wake up, when our minds haven't yet been bombarded with the worries of the day. The problem is that most of us waste this precious opportunity. We wake up and our minds immediately start listing everything that needs to be done, everything that could go wrong, all the responsibilities we have. It's as if we turn on an anxiety engine first thing in the morning, and then it's impossible to turn it off. This recent scientific discovery has shown that our brains after 60 maintain a specific plasticity in the early hours of the day. This is when the neurotransmitters responsible for the feeling of well-being are at their most balanced levels before the cortisol from daily stress begins to rise. It is literally a window of neurological opportunity that opens every day. One patient told me how this technique completely transformed her morning experience. She used to wake up with a heavy feeling in her chest, as if the day were an impossible mountain to climb. By applying the neurological reset, in just 2 days, she began to wake up with a completely different feeling. It was no longer that heavy and anxious awakening, but a curiosity about what the day could bring. The technique is surprisingly simple. In the first 20 minutes after opening your eyes, before even getting out of bed, you will dedicate 5 minutes to reconnecting with the positive physical sensations of your own body. No complicated meditation or difficult positions are required. Simply pay attention to 3 specific points where you feel comfortable in that moment. It could be the warmth of the blankets, the softness of the pillow, the feeling of relaxation in your still rested muscles. The important thing is that you are training your brain to start the day focusing on feelings of well-being, not worries. It's like programming the emotional thermostat for your entire day. After these 5 minutes of physical connection, you will dedicate another 5 minutes to what I call a positive review. Instead of thinking about what you need to do or what could go wrong, you will remember 3 good things that have happened in your life recently. They can be small, like a pleasant conversation, a flavor you enjoyed, a moment of affection you received. The mature brain has an incredible ability to access positive memories, but we need to intentionally direct this ability. When we do this first thing in the morning, we are literally programming our nervous system to seek out positive aspects throughout the day rather than being in constant alert mode. One fascinating finding is that this simple practice changes brainwave patterns throughout the day. People who do the morning neurological reset have more stable cortisol levels and produce more natural serotonin. It's as if we're giving our brains a different recipe for manufacturing our mood for the entire day. What strikes me most is how people describe the change. It's not that their problems disappear, but their ability to deal with them changes completely. It's as if they regain the natural emotional resilience they had before the anxiety set in. In just 48 hours of practicing this technique, you will notice that you wake up with less heaviness in your chest, that your mind does not immediately go into worry mode, that you can start the day with more peace of mind and confidence in your ability to deal with whatever comes your way. Now tell me, press 1 if your anxiety appears mainly in the morning, or press 2 if it appears more during the day. Your answer will help me to customize the guidelines that follow and may help others who are going through the same situation. The second discovery deals with something that our generation has in abundance, but that we rarely use as a therapeutic tool. These are emotional memory anchors. Over the course of 6 decades of life, we accumulate thousands of moments where we felt truly safe, loved, and calm. These memories are stored in our brains like true emotional treasures, waiting to be accessed. Scientific advances have discovered that these positive memories are not just passive recollections. They act as neurological anchors that can stabilize our emotional state in the present. When we consciously access a memory of safety and well-being, our nervous system literally returns to that state, even decades later. I recently observed a 74-year-old woman apply this technique in an impressive way. She told me that whenever she felt anxiety coming on, especially in the late afternoon when she was home alone, she could transport herself back to a specific moment in her youth. It was a Sunday afternoon when she was 35, playing in the backyard with her young children, feeling the sun on her face and a complete peace in her heart. In less than 2 days of applying this memory anchor, she was able to completely transform her moments of loneliness. Instead of feeling abandoned or worried, she was able to access that feeling of fulfillment and security that she has always carried within her. It was as if she discovered that she had a natural pharmacy of well-being stored in her own mind. The technique works in 3 simple steps. First, you identify a specific memory where you felt deeply calm and secure. It doesn't have to be an extraordinary moment. It could be an afternoon chatting with a loved one, a moment spent contemplating nature, or simply feeling at home and at peace with yourself. The important thing is to choose a memory where you can remember not only what happened, but the physical sensations of that moment. What the temperature was like, the sounds around you, the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your breathing. The more sensory details you can recall, the more powerful your anchor will be. The second step is to create a simple physical trigger for that memory. This could be gently touching your arm, bringing your fingertips together, or simply placing your hand over your heart. As you relive that peaceful memory, you repeat this physical gesture over and over again. You are literally creating a neural bridge between the movement and the feeling of well-being. The third step is to use this anchor whenever you feel anxiety creeping in. The moment you notice the first signs of uneasiness, you do the physical gesture you created and allow that memory of safety to flood your mind. You're not escaping the present. You're accessing real emotional resources that you've developed throughout your life. A fascinating discovery is that this technique works because our mature brains have much richer and more interconnected neural networks than younger brains. We have more material to work with, more experiences of overcoming, more moments of true tranquility stored in our memory. What moves me is seeing people rediscover their own emotional wisdom. They realize that they are not victims of anxiety, but rather possess decades of experience of peace and security that can be accessed at any time. In 48 hours of practicing this memory anchor, you will discover that you have a powerful arsenal against anxiety stored in your own life story. Every moment of tranquility you have ever experienced becomes a tool available for the present. If you want to continue receiving discoveries that really work for our age group, subscribe to the channel now. Every week, I share scientific advances that hundreds of people have already used to regain peace of mind. Don't miss these weekly guidelines that can transform your next years. The third discovery has revolutionized my understanding of how people of our generation can use breathing therapeutically. I'm not talking about those complicated breathing techniques that require counting numbers or making difficult movements. I'm talking about something I call smart breathing. which harnesses the natural wisdom our bodies have developed over decades. After 60, our breathing takes on a different quality. We have deeper, more conscious, less accelerated rhythms than younger people. The problem is that when anxiety sets in, we abandon this wise breathing and try to go back to breathing as if we were 30 years old. It's like forcing an engine that works better at a different rhythm. I remember a special case where this discovery completely changed the life of a 69-year-old man. He came to me because he felt he had lost control over his own reactions. Any unexpected situation, from an unplanned visit to a change in routine, triggered intense anxiety that lasted for hours. I taught him the technique of intelligent breathing, which respects the natural rhythm of the mature body. In less than 48 hours, he was able to get through a situation that would have previously left him in panic. That feeling of being completely prepared to deal with any unexpected event that life might bring. Smart breathing works on 3 simple principles. First, instead of trying to control your breathing, you should observe how it naturally wants to flow. Our bodies after 60 have a natural tendency to take longer, more measured breaths. This is the wisdom of time manifesting itself in the way we breathe. The second principle is to use the exhale as a tool for emotional release. When you feel anxiety coming on, instead of trying to breathe faster to calm yourself down, you will do the opposite. You will allow your exhale to be longer and more conscious, as if you are literally releasing the tension that is building up in your chest. The third principle is the most powerful and uses something that only people with our life experience have. It is connecting your breath with the feeling of having weathered many storms in your life. Each inhale brings the memory that you have overcome challenges before. Each exhale releases unnecessary tension that you don't need to carry. A patient described this feeling to me beautifully. She said it was as if her breathing became a silent conversation with all the previous versions of herself. All the times she had faced difficulties and managed to move forward. Each breath connected her to this inner strength she had always had, but that anxiety made her forget. The specific technique is surprisingly simple. When you notice the first signs of anxiety, you place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly, not to control your breathing, but to feel how it naturally happens in your body at that moment. Then, on your next exhale, you will imagine that you are releasing not only the air, but also that tension that does not belong to you. And on your next inhale, you will breathe along with the certainty that you have been through difficult times before and always found a way. What science has discovered is that this approach activates specific areas of the mature brain related to wisdom and life perspective. It is not just regulating breathing, it is accessing decades of overcoming experience that are stored in the nervous system. After 48 hours of practicing smart breathing, you will notice that you can remain calm in situations that would previously trigger immediate anxiety. Your breathing becomes a constant ally, reminding your body of all the strength and wisdom you have accumulated throughout your life. Most importantly, you will rediscover that sense of being grounded in yourself, of having solid internal resources to deal with any situation that arises. These 3 discoveries work as an integrated system for restoring natural tranquility. The morning neurological reset programs your day to seek well-being instead of problems. The emotional memory anchor connects you to decades of safe experiences you have already lived. Intelligent breathing uses the wisdom of your mature body to get you through moments of tension. Together, these techniques create something powerful, a solid foundation of emotional self-confidence that anxiety can no longer shake. It's not that life's challenges disappear, but your ability to deal with them returns to what you've always had, only now more refined by experience. What moves me most is seeing people recover not only their peace of mind, but also their spontaneous joy in life. That curiosity about tomorrow, that willingness to enjoy simple moments, that natural confidence in dealing with the unexpected. Do you know someone who needs to discover this today? Share it with that family member or friend who has been feeling restless lately. Your attitude could be the turning point someone has been waiting for to understand that they are not alone in this experience and that there is a scientific and respectful way to regain inner peace. We still have a fourth discovery that will complete this system in a surprising way. It is the most powerful of all and explains why some people achieve such fast results. The fourth and most powerful finding has to do with something that people of our generation have uniquely possessed: a network of personal meaning built over decades. This recent scientific discovery has shown that anxiety after 60 often arises when we lose connection with the deep meaning our lives have always had. It's not about having a grand purpose, but about reconnecting with the values and meanings that have always guided us. One discovery that changed everything was when I realized that many of my anxious patients had one thing in common. It wasn't age, it wasn't loneliness, it wasn't health problems. It was the feeling that their experiences and wisdom were no longer valuable in today's world, as if they had become irrelevant in their own lives. A 71-year-old man told me something that had a profound impact on me. He said he felt like a book full of important stories that no one wanted to read anymore. All his life experiences, lessons learned, and victories no longer seemed to have any weight or importance. This disconnection from his own worth was fueling constant anxiety. By applying the personal meaning network technique, he had a remarkable transformation within 48 hours. He began to see himself once again as a living treasure trove of experiences, someone whose stories and learnings had real value to the people around him. The anxiety that had been consuming him simply began to dissolve as he reconnected with his own meaning. The technique works on 3 layers of reconnection. The first layer is what I call a wisdom inventory. You will take a moment to mentally list 3 difficult situations you have faced in your life and how you managed to overcome them. It doesn't matter if they were big or small. The important thing is to recognize that you have an arsenal of experiences to overcome. It could be how you raised children through difficult times, how you maintained a marriage through decades, how you coped with major losses, how you adapted to career changes. Each of these experiences represents a specific wisdom you have developed that continues to be valuable today. The second layer is the connection with enduring values. These are the principles that have always guided your important decisions: honesty, caring for your family, decent work, respect for others. These values have not lost their importance over time. They have deepened. They are like deep roots that connect you to who you really are. The third layer is the most powerful and works with what I call a living legacy. It's not about leaving something behind after you're gone, but about recognizing the positive impact you've had and continue to have on people's lives. It could be through the advice you've given, the example you've set, the kindness you've shown, or simply the way you've chosen to live. One patient told me how this discovery completely changed her perspective. At age 66, she felt invisible and purposeless. By applying the personal meaning network, she began to notice how her grandchildren sought her opinion, how her friends valued her expertise, how her presence made a difference in family situations. The anxiety he felt was actually a symptom of a disconnection from his own worth. When he began to see himself as important and significant again, the mental turmoil simply faded. It was as if he had regained his place in the world. What science has discovered is that this reconnection with personal meaning activates specific areas of the brain related to self-esteem and life purpose. It naturally produces neurotransmitters associated with well-being and dramatically reduces stress-related cortisol levels. In just 48 hours of practicing this reconnection, you will feel a profound change in the way you see yourself and how you relate to the world. Anxiety will fade away because you will once again be certain of your value and meaning. Now it's your turn to take action. Comment below which of these 4 discoveries you'll apply today. Just write Discovery X, starting now. It's not a request. It's the next natural step after watching this far. Those who comment receive personalized guidance that I only send to those who are truly ready to change. These 4 discoveries represent much more than techniques for managing anxiety. They are a path back home to that calm, confident version of you that has always existed but has been temporarily hidden beneath layers of worry and anxiety. The morning neurological reset gives you back control over how you start each day. The emotional memory anchor reconnects you to decades of experiences of safety and well-being. Smart breathing transforms every stressful moment into an opportunity to access your inner wisdom. And the Personal Meaning Network reconnects you to the unique value you represent in the world. Together, these discoveries create something extraordinary. A solid foundation of tranquility that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on the inner wealth you've built up over a lifetime. It's like rediscovering a treasure that was always yours, but that you'd forgotten where you put it. In 48 hours, you can begin to experience this transformation. Not because these techniques are magic, but because you finally have tools that respect and work with the unique characteristics of your mature brain, your life experience, and your accumulated internal resources. Your journey to regaining natural calm doesn't have to be a lonely one. Like now, if these discoveries brought clarity to patterns you've been noticing. Comment on your biggest discovery to inspire others going through the same experience. Subscribe so you don't miss out on specific scientific breakthroughs I share each week. And watch the next video on how to apply these techniques in specific everyday situations, because knowledge without practical application doesn't change anything. Your peace of mind is within your reach, and you deserve to live each day with the peace and confidence that have always been yours by right. Anxiety may have stolen some moments, but it cannot steal your future. It is still entirely in your hands.